All right, what is up, guys? It is episode 7 of Caffeine, Carbs, and Kilos. We only recorded like 2 podcasts in the last month. Skylar was gone last week, and I was moving, and I think 2 weeks before that, we were, I don't know, dealing with some other
Bunch of gym stuff.
bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Um, really hope YouTube doesn't flag this because I swore in the first 30 seconds.
Immediately. Oh, too bad we can't be monetized now.
Well. Yeah, but we're back. We're gonna try and be back on track with a week of stuff. But last week, like I said, I was moving, and we'll get into that in a sec. But Skylar had a little more interesting time than I did. He was in Canada.
Yep, went up to Canada for about a week. Kind of a bender. When you go up there, they have this beer called Kokanee, which is a Canadian, just a light beer. It's like 5% still, but it's good stuff. But yeah, caught a bunch of fish. A few guys in our group had some big ones, but probably the weirdest thing that happened is what I was telling you earlier about that water spout.
Oh yeah,
We were in this small bay. We had just kind of pulled up into it with our boat and started jigging for walleye. And about 30 seconds later, we see this weird like water spout tornado thing forming. And the second we look at it, it like gets even bigger and then like rushes right through us. And all of our minnows and worms like went everywhere, and it picked up all of our hats, and we had to go find them basically, fish them out, go on shore, fish them out of the water. It was nuts, like one in a million thing. It was just so weird because it was like sunny, 75, 80 degrees, barely any clouds. Like it was so weird.
yeah. Where are you at in Canada?
So we went up to a place called Morand Lake in Saskatchewan. So it's really far. It's pretty far up north. It's about 20-hour drive time, and then it's past the 54th parallel. Other than that, I don't really. It's Canada's just so like weird because if there's major cities, and then there's where we were at where there's nobody, and we actually had so they like banned bear hunting in Saskatchewan for like 2 years, and so now their population of bears is like 280,000 over what the normal one is, and it's like over a million. So we had I saw 3 bears on the trip. 3 bears came into our camp on the trip. 2 got shot. It was crazy.
Right. I'll say because I have I guess soon to be brother and sister in law that are they go bear hunting in Idaho every year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I suppose I should probably tell them to go
That's
a little
cool.
further north.
Yeah, you could do bear hunts. I mean, they just got a bunch of black bears out there, and they
Okay.
have some cinnamons and a couple albinos. But I mean, tons of black bears. I've never seen so many on this trip. Like I said, I saw about 3. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. The one they had in camp, I saw it. He kind of moseyed around, and the owner of the camp just walking out there with his big shotgun, and he's probably about like, I don't know, almost like from me to you, probably doubled. That's how close he was to this bear.
Wolf. All right.
Because it just wasn't backing off. And he has
Yeah.
a dog that like it's a kind of a golden retriever lab thing, and it will only bark unless there's a bear. And so yeah, shot 2 of them while we were there. That's like out of the I think 8 he shot all year. 2 of them were when we were there.
Saying black bears are usually a little more. I can't say friendly because they're bears, but like.
Oh no, they are.
Yeah.
Compared to like a grizzly.
Yeah.
100%.
I'll say when you guys were up there, were you guys like roughing it intense or how?
No, so I mean, depending on, I've been to multiple places, but at this place we just have kind of a log cabin, and it has a bathroom and a couple sinks in it, and then it's just kind of bunk beds and whatever. But I mean, there's no cell service. There's barely Wi-Fi if you're like 2 feet away from the main cabin, and then or the lodge, I guess, and then there's one shower house with 2 showers in it, and that's it for the entire camp. And there's probably like 20 to 30 people there.
In other words, it sounds like a fantastic escape.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a great time. It was the first year we took my dad just bought a boat. The first year we took our own boat versus using a camp boat that you rent there. The camp boats are just very bare John boats, just like basic, don't really have much in them, just a motor and a boat basically. But what we brought was, bigger, comfy, live wells, all that type of stuff. And I had a trolling motor up there that I would move with my foot. But on our way up, this is a brand new boat. We like literally only took it out twice. Not brand new, but new for us. And the tires were kind of worn on it. So we probably got up into North Dakota before we crossed the border and one of the tires blew. Like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
And so then we just had to replace it and go to 2 different Canadian tires to get new tires and all this stuff. But it worked out. It was a fun time.
Yeah.
A lot of fishing and drinking.
That's fair. So how much did you take home? A fish for a while or?
Oh yeah. So you can take in Saskatchewan at least. You could have 5 pike, 1 over. So there's like a limit. So if it's longer than 29.5, it's over. So you can only have 1 of those. Otherwise, you can have 4 below. And then walleyes, you can have 3 below and 1 over. So I guess between me and my dad, we limited out. So we probably had anywhere from like 10 to 15 fish. So, yeah.
Eat a lot of fish at camp then too?
Oh, yeah. There was these guys we were with that they would have a shore lunch every day. So, I mean, they would catch the fish, fillet it there, go. They have like shore lunch spots where there's like people who have started a fire before or whatever, and they cook it up there.
Yeah.
But we had fried fish, like 4 out of the 6 nights.
I might get
fish, beans, and potatoes.
I might get a little old after that much, but
that's pretty good though. I liked it.
So I like walleye. I've been up to Minnesota a couple times. They're not really family, but like they're kind of family.
Yeah,
the whole family twice removed, random cousin somehow there. Anyway, we got up to Minnesota a couple times, and they got abundant walleye in most of the lakes up there.
Oh yeah,
and walleye, salmon, and then like cod are about the only fish I eat.
Walleye's good.
Yeah,
I like walleye.
The last time we were up there, someone told us they said it was like a delicacy. In reality, it's just like really fatty with a little bit of meat, so it just tastes really good. Is walleye cheeks.
Yeah. Cut the cheeks out of them.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to do, but yeah, that is a delicacy.
We
didn't really take the time to do that because we don't really care, but we just got just a big fillet. Yeah. First year, I actually cared about filleting them too, so I learned how to do that. Got some pretty good fillets, and we met these guys from that were up there from Churchill, Nebraska.
Oh, nice.
Which is kind of crazy at the same time. And they said that they pickle their pike. And I was like,
interesting.
I wonder how that would taste. They don't even have to take the bones out or try and there's a wide bone in the pike that go all the way down the middle. They don't even take that out. They just when they pickle it, the vinegar or something just kind of gets rid of the bones.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was watching. It was a cooking show where the way they were cooking some chicken or some duck or something like that, they were literally just hacking it, bones and all, into tiny pieces, and they put it in a pressure cooker or in a broth or something, and cooked it for hours and hours. And they said cooked it for long enough, the bones basically got soft and then just basically melted into the meat.
Yeah.
And so
I've heard that too. I mean, a lot of the small bones they'll cook out, but yeah, just kind of crazy.
Yeah. So you drove up there 20 hours?
Yeah.
How was that? Did you do it in 1 shot or 2 or 3?
2. So the way up there, the first drive is usually about 12, and then the next day we do 8.
Yeah, get the hard shit out of the way first.
Dang, the way back was so long.
Yeah, it always is.
The first day was fine. Second day, it was only 8 hours, so one of the shortest drives that we'd have, and it just dragged.
Yeah, the last time when I went to Colorado over New Year's, when we were getting out there, we were in Colorado. It was fantastic. And then when we were on the way home, hit Kearney, so just 2 hours away from Lincoln. I swear, miles just stretch, and it was freaking terrible.
There's how far in Colorado did you go? Was it an 8-hour drive, 6-hour drive?
So when we went out there, we went to Denver first because we were going out to see a buddy of mine. His parents lived in Centennial, which is a suburb of Denver on the south side.
Okay.
So we went down to Centennial first and then went back through Denver to go to Estes.
Yeah.
So if we would have just gone straight through Loveland and Greeley, it would have been like 7.5, but we added an extra little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I like Colorado. I wish it was just a little bit closer. Like if it was like 3 hours, like a Kansas City range, I would probably go more often.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would say even still, like, gosh, it was during COVID or the year after COVID when UNL took away spring break. My fiance, now she's my girlfriend at the time, we were always planning on going to Colorado over spring break, just having like 3-4 days out there, just kind of enjoy it. And then when they canceled spring break, we were trying to decide what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
So we did a weekend trip out in Colorado.
Oh,
that was interesting. Driving total 16 hours of drive time within like 72, 80 hours is definitely. It was fun being out there, but not something I might do again.
Me and my brother drove out to California. We drove out there, it's like 21 hours, I think. Somewhere around there, 21 to 24. And we get all the way out there. We get there pretty late, so we sleep that night. Then we're there for a day. The next day we come back.
Woof, no thank you.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I would say the longest drive I've ever done was Columbus, Ohio. I did it 13 hours, one shot. I told myself 13 hours was the max I would ever drive.
That's a lot for one person.
Yeah, I would say that's the other thing. I was the only one driving it, and it was, it gets old real quick. Anything over 13 hours I do in 2 days, no shot.
I was going to say the most I've done by myself was about 9, up to like kind of Minnesota, Wisconsin area. But yeah.
I would say a best friend of mine, so when wildland fire season got over last year, he drove from where they were at in Spokane, Washington, down to Denver, stayed with his parents for like a week or so, and then he had a class he was going to do out in North Carolina. And so from Denver to North Carolina, he stopped in Lincoln, stayed with me for a couple days, and then went from Lincoln to Jacksonville, North Carolina in one shot. Yeah, it was.
Whoa.
I think it was, by the time it was all said and done, like 19, 20 hours by himself.
Well, what's crazy is my buddy, he transferred to Oregon, University of Oregon in Eugene, I want to say. It's not in Portland.
Is it University of Oregon? Yeah, it's in Eugene.
So he drove from Eugene to Lincoln by himself yesterday.
Oof. No.
With his dog, with his husky.
Well, at least you have some sort of company.
Yeah.
So my friend El, he would go get tired, pack a lip, and keep going.
There you go.
He was military, so I mean, why not? It makes
give
it
you
work.
a kick.
No shit. But yeah, he told me at first, like, he's like, oh, I might like stop in Knoxville along the way, just like take a snooze for a couple hours and be good. But then I was texting him, and I went to bed because he didn't get into Jacksonville till 2:00 in the morning. So it was East Coast time, so 1:00 our time. But yeah, he left my apartment that morning like 8, 9 o'clock and got in.
I mean, unless you need your car, honestly, gas prices these days, you could probably get a plane ticket for the same price.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Especially round trip. I mean, if you're driving all the way out there and back.
So especially like in Lincoln, if you use LNK, those flights are always super cheap because the airport's fucking tiny.
Unless you're going super far.
Yeah.
But they just got that Redway to go to Texas from Lincoln.
Nice.
Yeah, they call it Redway. It's like brand new, probably like about a couple weeks ago. And so you can take it directly.
Where? DFW or Houston?
Both, I think. I think
fuck.
there's 3 different
ones
in Texas.
That's pretty nice. Just like you can go out to Grand Island, that tiny little airstrip, you can get a round trip to Vegas for like $200.
Really?
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah, out in Grand Island, it's just some small little airstrip. It's like planes, they're passenger planes, but like no bigger than a Cessna. But yeah, you can get like a one-way trip out to Vegas for like $90.
Damn.
Or something like that.
That's like the worst thing though, is coming back from vacation having to drive after getting back to the airport.
Yeah.
Like I've driven, when we go to Mexico, we'll drive to Kansas City and
Mhm.
then fly to Mexico.
Yeah.
So on the way back, you like get into Kansas City and then you have a 3-hour drive.
Yep.
It's like,
Yeah, I would say my 4 years ago, my fiance, her family went to Aruba.
Ooh.
They drove down to Kansas City because it was the closest, like actual international airport.
Yeah.
Drove down to Kansas City, then flew to somewhere in Texas, maybe, I don't remember. It's 4 years ago, and then down to Aruba. Did the same thing on the way back. They flew out of Aruba, and then were circling, I think, DFW for like 3-4 hours because the runway was too congested.
Really?
They were just circling the airport for 3 or 4 hours, and they were really worried they're going to miss their connecting flight to Kansas City. They got rescheduled, so they made a connecting flight to Kansas City, but then got into Kansas City at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then they still had 3.5 hours drive home.
Yeah, at that point, I would have just stayed at a hotel or something. Gosh.
I would say her dad is stubborn, so
Yep.
he made the drive anyway.
Oh yeah.
That would suck though, because I have the most I've ever spent on a tarmac waiting, and that's on a tarmac, is like an extra hour and a half. I've never spent the time circling.
I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I travel or do anything really, like if I start it, I just want to get like I'm already halfway or already getting into it, so might as well just do the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't even mind. We split that 19-20 hour drive to Canada in 2 days, and I mean one day would be a lot, but after you've already been in a car for that long, you're like, let's just go. Like I don't want to go to sleep, wake up, and do it again.
Yeah.
Like let's just do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
It's really funny because it seems like a stereotype, but at the same time it comes true. Everyone in the Midwest is like, "Oh, how far away is that?" And everyone's always like, "Oh, like an 8-hour drive," or "Oh, like a 9-hour drive," or a 4-hour drive. It's never like, "Oh, just go to the airport and make like an hour or two flight." It's always, "Oh, you can drive." Yeah. And I grew up that way all the time too.
Same. I mean, so before I went to the University of Nebraska, I was at Minnesota State, and so I would drive back here every 2 weeks.
Damn.
Yeah, I was dating this girl at the time that lived here, and anyways, so I would, every 2 weeks I would make a 6-hour drive by myself back here for the weekend, and then drive the 6 hours back. And I'm like, so after I did that for so long, I mean, a 3-hour drive was like nothing.
Yeah, I would say my friend that I was talking about earlier, his wife at the time, I don't need to go into that one anymore, but his wife at the time still lived out in Colorado, but he was going to school and working out here.
Oh, okay.
So every other week he would make the drive back to Colorado.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Just an 8-hour drive every other week. And then, yeah.
Mm-hmm. See, stuff like that, it makes you appreciate some short drive, like to Omaha or, well, I guess every day that kind of sucks. But, I mean, you know what I mean? It's just quick stuff. Like, I mean, it's a little bit shorter than Omaha, but when I was coaching for Norris, I'd drive out there, to Firth every day. It's probably about a 30 to 40-minute drive.
Yeah, if you take Highway 77, super easy.
Yeah, I would just go, and then after a while, it was just routine.
Yeah.
So
I would say that was a good segue. I moved last week. I moved to Omaha. My fiance got into med school, so figured I'd be better off making the commute than I'd make her drive any further.
What a gentleman.
I know. Got an apartment only 12 minutes away from campus, so she has it super easy. And a couple people asked me if I was going to stay here, but I personally have some unfinished business I want to accomplish here anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Got some stuff I want to do for the gym, so I told the owner I would love to stay, but I needed him to reimburse me for gas, otherwise I literally couldn't.
Right.
And he agreed, and so that's helped. But I made the drive to Omaha for an internship in college one summer. I did it for 3 months, and it definitely got old. Also, I
know you did that.
Yeah, I was like
crazy
20, 21, so a little different than now, where now I actually have like stuff I'm interested in where I can find podcasts about, and because then I was just either listening to music or it's too freaking early in the mornings. I had to be there at 7 o'clock
Right.
when I was doing that for the internship. But now it's taking full advantage of the fact I don't have to be here till 10, though. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I can do some stuff at home before I leave, and then it's an hour drive out here and an hour drive back, so it's a 9 to 5 with drive time. And I definitely try and leave now at like 4 or 5 instead of. I used to get here sometimes early, like 9 or 9:30, and then I'd stay and end up talking till like 6:30 or 7.
Yeah.
Back when I lived 5 minutes that way,
Right.
and now it's like I feel bad because I love everybody here, but I don't really want to stay until 6.
Well,
Get home at 7.
home.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice being able to, like, if you're getting reimbursed or paid, whenever you're driving, because that just makes it so much worse. I mean, even for me, like, any job, especially, an hour long, but even if it's like 20, 30 minutes, you don't clock in until you get there.
Yeah.
And you clock out when you leave. So, like, that whole, that could be a whole hour that you drive down and back. In your case, 2 hours. That wouldn't be anything. So,
yeah, I'll say so. It's definitely nice. We'll see how long it takes for me to get bored with the drive, a little burnt out, and I'm sure I'll go through waves where I'll get burnt out with it, and then be like, all right, this isn't so bad.
Yeah.
And the longer you do it, yesterday I was listening to a podcast. I was talking on the phone and using my phone like I shouldn't be when I'm driving. And then suddenly I found myself like going through Gretna, and I just kind of like zoned out for 35 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'm almost home.
Yeah.
And so those are the points where it's nice because you don't have to worry about it, or like you just kind of zone out and suddenly you're home.
I would always talk to people, like, on long drives. If I would call 2-3 people, have an hour conversation with them, and it would go by so much quicker because you don't even listen to music for so long.
Yeah, I know.
Podcasts for longer, but like music, gosh, it gets old quick.
I was saying some of the podcasts I listen to, the one especially that I've been listening to now is Elite FTS. They have a Table Talk podcast with their owner Dave Tate, and he'll have guests on, and they'll have podcasts that are like 3.5, 4 hours, and so I get like 2-3 days out of them because it's a 45-50 minute drive here and then another one back. And so nice. I just get half a podcast in one day, and then
that makes me feel like more productive too. Some podcasts are just
bullshit.
Yeah.
Kind
of like ours, but
I'm just kidding. You're not entirely wrong,
but you know what I mean. Like, listen to like versus music. If you listen to a podcast, you're actually like gaining knowledge or some sort of information that you didn't know before.
Yeah.
And you can relate to it more versus just listening to music the whole time. Like, I at least feel like I'm getting something done, especially if it's a motivational or, business or some sort of podcast like that, like, Succession podcast. So I don't know.
I was saying with Table Talk, all of his guests are always like guys that are pretty big in, like, I call it the fitness world, but there's so much more to it than that because they're all like nutritionists or previous competitors, or they own their own gym, or they're coaches and previous competitors, or they're still doing both, or they're doing all of this all at once. So it's so much information. And like, I really started realizing the other day there was one I really wanted to listen to, and I found myself like tired after the drive because I was like so intently, actively listening to this podcast. I got home, I sat on the couch, I'm like, why am I so tired? But like, they're always really good, and I definitely need podcast recommendations. So hopefully people watch far enough into this, or we can clip this part because I want podcast. I want some recommendations on stuff to listen to. It can be bullshit because it's always nice, but like anything business related, gym related, something like that, where I can glean a little bit of something from other people would definitely be good.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. In the meantime, last night I was actually just listening to music on the way home. Sometimes you need a break from people talking.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I was listening to music on the way home yesterday, and it was, I don't know, it went fine.
I like, radio shows, morning shows are kind of like podcasts. I like listening to those too. Like Froggy 98 has a morning one I listen to.
Yep.
And that's just nice because it's, stuff that's going on in Lincoln and whatever else is going on in that world. But I don't usually get up early enough to catch most of it.
Yeah, back when I was working for the tree service, I would, on the drive out there, it was 20-30 minutes out there, I was listening to 96 Kicks. They have morning show too, 96.9, and they always, I don't know, those always work just as well.
Nice.
But yeah, it's been, I don't know. See how long it takes before the drive gets annoying. But until then, Nebraska's pretty, I suppose. Anyone that disagrees just hasn't driven out far enough west.
Oh yeah.
Or appreciates the beauty of the Great Plains. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I've lived here for 24, almost 25 years, and like, I don't know. I find Nebraska pretty.
I think so too. And then there's nothing quite like it too. I mean, it is pretty flat, but if you go somewhere, like you said, I mean, especially out west, a little northwest, I mean, there's some hills and great places to hike and
yeah.
Yeah.
So Northwest, especially like Lake McConaughey, Toadstool Park, like all the sand hills and random little attractions like Carhenge and stuff like that.
Yeah, I haven't been out there, but I want to.
The last time I was in South Dakota in the Black Hills, we didn't actually stop at Carhenge. We drove by it and looked at it, but we didn't stop.
Oh, that's cool.
It's kind of funny.
That's cool. Let's keep driving.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. And even a friend of mine, I keep bringing up, he lived in Denver all of his life before he moved out here when, I guess, he was a Marine for a while. But he lived in Denver until he left for the Marines at 18, and he likes it out here more than he likes the mountains.
Wow.
Now, I guess on that same note, for us, like going out to the mountains is a whole lot prettier than the Great Plains. So,
right.
And, maybe we don't appreciate the beauty of Nebraska all the time, but like the mountains are super pretty. It's probably the same for him. Grew up with the mountains all the time, so
and probably that altitude difference too. I mean, it's steep hikes.
Yeah,
going out there, but
so meanwhile out here you can go. Oh gosh, where is it? Is that Schramm? Out by South Bend, Nebraska. Yeah, they have a bunch of nice little walking trails through like just a state park. I don't know. It's pretty. It's a little hilly enough to make something out of it.
Yeah, get some work done.
Yeah.
I haven't been on a hike really out there in a while. I mean, I used to be a Boy Scout when I was younger, and we'd do stuff like that all the time. I wish there was something like that for like adults too. I mean, we'd go out to these like camps, and you'd be like shooting guns and archery and hiking and swimming in the lake and whatnot. And, like, sounds awesome.
Yeah, I would say the more we talk about it too. I saw someone here at the gym took his girlfriend out to Lake McConaughey for a weekend. I've actually never been out to Lake McConaughey. My parents have, but I moved out of the house before they decided to really take their camper places. Interesting, apparently.
I think I saw something that they have a pretty nice beach area there.
Oh yeah, they
very large.
I was saying it's super nice out there. I've heard anyway. I mean, I've seen videos. There's like a TikTok and an Instagram. It's like Travel Nebraska or something that I've been seeing too.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, those those are always good.
I'm gonna switch gears here a little bit. So I told you I was jumping in that meet on the 4th of July. There's like a 4th of July street vault in Seward. They do like they have a bunch of pop-up stands for people to buy stuff. It's kind of like almost like a farmer's market type deal. And then they have the meet going on next to the Rocket Bottle Brewery. Should be fun. I'm trying to get back into shape, and finally got my kind of summer workout plan for 8 weeks, and it's just conditioning, lifting, that type of stuff. But what I was going to ask is, so we've talked about meal preps a lot. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you what your favorite or best way to cook chicken is, because in like a mass amount, like if you're going to meal prep for your a week or two, how would you cook your chicken?
So breasts are always difficult because on a grill, a whole breast is like super thick. And so getting temp all the way up in the middle, sometimes you get dry everywhere else. I like to do whole breast if I'm too lazy to butterfly them in the oven, and that's always super easy. Otherwise, if I'm going to grill them or pan sear them, I'll butterfly them, so I'll cut them in half, and then I'll grill them, because then they're a little bit thinner and they're pretty even on both sides, as well as far as thickness goes. So you can actually get a better cook on them. They stay juicy as long as you watch your grill, unlike I did this last weekend. I overcooked a few of them, but I think, as far as chicken goes, if you're gonna pan sear your grill or stuff like that, butterfly them for sure.
Okay.
And then whatever seasonings you like. A couple weeks ago I marinated some chicken. That was actually really good.
That's the best, man.
Yeah.
letting it sit there. It doesn't take that long either.
I said 24 hours. Like I would say 24 hours is the minimum you should marinate.
Oh yeah,
you have to think ahead a little bit for, but like makes it so much better.
I've even seen ones as little as like an hour.
Yeah,
like they come pre-mixed and stuff, you know, and then put it in there for an hour. Obviously, it's not going to be as soaked, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, otherwise breasts in the
I've
oven.
never thought about butterflying the breast though, because I've always struggled to get that middle part.
Yep.
Because it's just never really works. Then I just end up cutting it up into smaller pieces in the pan.
Yep.
And I've also like baked it in the oven and then put it, you know, taken it out and then put it on the pan because it didn't get it fully. But I'll have to try that.
Yeah, butterflying always worked for me, and then I don't have to worry as much about making sure interior is always good, because then it's even slices.
It's nice.
And then it's always difficult to dice your chicken and then cook it diced because it overcooks so freaking fast. Yeah. Otherwise, as far as chicken goes, chicken thighs, because you can bring them up to 200 degrees and I swear they won't get dry. So
I've tried cooking chicken in my air fryer.
Oh yeah,
that worked.
Yeah,
it just kind of takes a bit. Like you can't put too big of one. I don't have a super big air fryer, so you can't put too big of a breast in there. But
yeah, just like I said, butterfly or full breast in the oven, and then I think my chicken I do the oven at like 425, and if they're just raw, room temp or out of the fridge, like 20-30 minutes. I also have a meat thermometer, which helps.
And you shred it?
Either shred it or dice it afterwards, yeah.
You get your cooking videos back in.
I know. I've been pretty bad about social media and like putting out any kind of content lately, just with everything I've been doing with.
Oh, you're busy.
I know, with the gym stuff that happened, and then with the move and everything like that, I've been super behind, and I don't know, it's just unfortunate, but unfortunately life gets in the way.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there was that week of that stuff, and then I was gone, and
that never helped when you were gone.
I mean, you've got plenty of ideas though. Like we've got content to make, so that's the good thing is we're not sitting here like, well, what should we do?
I know. I keep a running note on my phone, just random shit I see, or that's like trending audios on TikTok that I always forget to use, and they're no longer trending when I remember.
Like, oh yeah, that one.
But yeah. Also, I guess back to the chicken. If you're gonna do it, you can put it in the crock pot. Yeah. For a while there was a really popular recipe on TikTok. You put whole chicken breast in the crock pot with a packet of taco seasoning and a whole jar of salsa, and then you cook it on low for 7 hours, and then like you can use tongs and it shreds itself. I swear.
Really? It's that wow.
So that works pretty well too. Otherwise, yeah.
Dope.
I guess let's go back to like your training, because you said you had an 8-week program. And then, I guess, what does it look like? I'm sure it was designed by the actual coach who's going to be doing it, so hopefully he knows what he's doing.
Oh yeah, no, he's been doing it for 30 years or something. Let me look at it. It's kind of, it builds up obviously, but it's a lot of kind of build up sprint mechanics, like short sprints, conditioning versus long. So you start, I guess I can just say like the first week. So full, like at 70% speed, a 20-meter sprint, then 80%, 90%, and then 4x20 at 100, and then 4x30 hill sprints.
Oof.
And then this is a ladder at 75 to 80% rest. It's like 50 meters with 1 minute rest, 100 meters, 2 minute rest, 150, 3 minute rest, 200, 4 minute rest, 150, 3 minute rest, 100, 2 minute rest. 50. Yeah. So it like kind of builds up and goes back down.
So you're going to have to go to the actual track over there, and then I know a lot of people do their hills out at Holmes Lake over the dam.
That's a hill.
That's a hill.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going to do all this at, honestly.
So I feel like most of it could be done fairly easily. The track's pretty close to the gym. The hill sprints are going to be Probably tougher to find.
Yeah. Then there's plyos, and then
Mhm.
lifting is pretty basic. A lot of pole vault, upper body, full body, like
Mhm.
it says clean jump. Not really sure what that is. Just like a clean with a jump.
I don't know. That's weird.
Push
Never heard of a
press.
clean. I know clean and jerk
Squat jumps.
Okay. So yeah, definitely a lot of
Hang
just
clean.
power
Clean jump.
movements.
Yeah.
So I was actually about to ask if you had to do cleans and all that, and like push press and stuff to build you up for that, but you answered my question before I even asked.
Well, yeah, we do a lot of that. I mean, anything like cleans, a lot of cleans, squats, and then just kind of for upper body that, I mean, when we've talked about it,
Yeah.
doing a lot of that. With the push press, that kind of, were you saying it like messes up your arms or something? If you,
Oh yeah, I was.
your shoulders.
Some podcast I was listening to, like, what? Yeah, someone saying like overhead press is like anatomically bad for your shoulders, but like at the same time, some sports and some like methodologies require it. Like strongman, it's a lot of overhead. Your training is going to be a lot of overhead no matter what you do. And so I don't think I mentioned last time within that podcast, like they said like if you have to do it, make sure you at least do the other movements to save your shoulders. So like do a lot of like your external rotations and your warm ups, and then like focus on your rear delts, which are like probably the most important part of your shoulder, and like all your other pushing movements, like focus on your triceps, and then just do your mobility and do your warm ups, and then you have to do your overhead press. So, I mean, you can't get away from it, so you might as well at least add that other stuff in so you can have healthier shoulders.
Yeah. Now that I think about it, there was this place where we would run for when I was trying to be a decathlete, like right down the road here.
Mm-hmm.
We would even do it in the parking lot at Devaney, doing those fartleks that I explained that one time. But there's this kind of like tall grass area. It's kind of like a park in a way, or like a lookout, but it's really right down the street. Can't remember what it's called, but you're basically just running through like kind of rock and through these paths and like over this bridge and stuff. So I might do that and then come back here to lift. I don't know.
Well, I suppose there's also like right outside Devaney the bike trail that goes up over that bridge over the concrete plant. That's a hill and a half. You can do that too.
True.
That one's at least close to the track that's over there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know. Hills are kind of tough in Lincoln.
Yeah. There was a nice one at my high school that we would do hills. It was not very long, but anytime we would do some sort of hill work, we would just do stairs, stadium stairs or whatever.
Oh yeah. Oh, you were at Norris. I'm sure that a bunch of the track guys talked about Big Mama, the hill that was out there on their cross country course that they used to train hills on.
I never heard of that.
Yeah,
I'm sure there is, but
I don't remember if it was on the course specifically or they were running it on the gravel road. On oh, I don't remember what that gravel road is called. It might be Stagecoach. No, I think it is. It's Stagecoach Road, that gravel road out there. Right next to the cross country path that they use, there's a massive gravel hill that they used to train hills on all the time.
A gravel hill.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, I was saying my dad was in cross country back at Norris too. They used to do their sprints on the sand at Holmes Lake right before their hill sprints on the dam.
Really?
Yeah. He would tell me all about the coach back when he was in high school in the 80s. He might still be there. Voda? No, I think he retired.
Voda?
Yeah.
Rings a bell. I don't know.
I think he retired, but he was a cross country coach back in the 80s, and they would always go out to Holmes Lake for a lot of their summer conditioning, do sprints on the beach in the sand, and then hill sprints up the dam. Which, looking at that dam, would be hell. But
so steep, dude.
Yeah. I suppose it'd work.
I didn't even think about that because since there is lifting, it's like I guess I do have to go somewhere to do the conditioning, and then because I was just thinking that I would do it out here on like that path out here, but guess there's no hills.
Yeah.
Right now it's probably wet, but
Yeah, I would say. I mean, otherwise, I guess it depends too on how you want to set up your day. Like you can do lifting in the morning and then do your conditioning later, or conditioning first and lift later in the afternoon.
right.
You don't have to do it all at once. You can always put a meal or some form of rest in between.
Maybe I'll do that then. Maybe I'll just lift and then go eat and then go die in the.
I would say I always liked back when I did both when I was back in high school before I just transitioned to only lifting the last couple of years. I would do either my lifting or my running in the morning, and then do the other one later in the afternoon or
That
evening.
is nice. We when I was doing decathlete training, we would just do all of it, man. Like we would do our long ass warm up, then we would do all the event work that we were doing. We would do like hurdles, long jump, high jump. Then we would do our like long distance fartleks and stuff, and then we would go drive to Hawks by the football lifting area and lift, and then do abs after.
Huh.
It was like 3 hour days
Yeah.
at least.
Oh, you could do over in the bottoms, the bridge going over the train tracks.
Oh yeah.
You can do that too. It's kind of weird and out of the way, but you can do hills there. I'm just trying to think and help you out a little bit.
No, I appreciate it.
I used to, when I did, because I tried ROTC in college for a short time.
Right.
We did our PT one morning, jogged out to that bridge, did sprints up the face, and then walked down the back, and then waited till we all got through and did that. I think like 10 rounds, and then had to jog back to the building. It sucked, but it got done.
There's this one time, so after like all of this workout and lifting, and after this was after one of our survivor circuits, the ones where like people always throw up, and I was telling you about. It was the day we did 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
After we did 3 of them, we went into Memorial Stadium and ran stairs.
Ugh.
I like got halfway up and started getting like the worst cramp of my life in my calf, so I like had to like stop and kind of sit down on the bench and like kind of rub it out. I felt like I was just like, of course this is what happened right now, because everyone else ran all the way up and down and I'm just sitting here not doing it, and I'm like, and then I went and did it by myself, and then everyone was like, whatever, clapping me down, but I was like, damn, this is embarrassing.
Yeah, I'd say stadium
can't
stairs
really stop the cramp.
Yeah, that's fair. Stadium stairs are no joke.
No, we would go all the way up too.
Yeah,
all the way up, all the way down.
Yeah,
they're weird. They're just like kind of, I don't know.
They're awkwardly spaced.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
If you're gonna run up each individual stair, you're basically doing high knees, hitting every single one. Yeah, it hurts.
I usually try and go 2, but
I'll say that's the other thing. If you try and go 2, it's almost too much of a step. I said I'm short, so like your long legs would help, but like, yeah.
I did like a little bit of both. Like I would kind of go up a couple and then I would go back to single, but sometimes they would tell us to do every single step. I'm like, okay, well. I also live on the 4th floor of my apartment complex, and we're like all the way at the end, and the elevator's in the middle. So I just do the stairs. Yeah. 3 flights of stairs, man.
It sucks, but
every day.
Yeah.
Well, the reason we live there is because I wanted to have a space to like take out the dogs, but then so like the ground floor, but I didn't want to. The only ground floors they had were the ones that looked out to the parking lot and didn't have like a yard or anything. Like, if that's the case, like I want to be somewhere with a view. Every place I've lived, I've been looking at like a wall, an alley, or like a parking lot. I'm like, I want to look at something. So we're on the 4th floor, but
stairs are good for you. I remember I used to live in an apartment downtown. It was a studio, the old Spaghetti Works building.
Oh yeah.
I got super lazy for a while. I would take the elevator, and then I realized it was a really old elevator too.
You lived up above there or what? Mm-hmm. I used to live right next. So my grandpa has a place where I used to live. He has 3 studios, and it's like that alley that looks right into, like if you came out of the doors where those apartments are, you look straight, there's that alley. Yeah. That's exactly where it is.
Oh, so you told me about it, but I guess I never actually pictured where it was.
Yeah, so like there's like Copper Kettle there now where Spaghetti works in the military Marines. Yeah. Yeah, you walk out that door and the alley straight there's like this white kind of greenhouse looking thing if you've ever walked down the alley.
So I threw away my trash in those cans right in that alley all the time.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You see the white kind of greenhouse?
If I did, I mean, it was 5 years ago. So,
well, it's been there for
yeah,
since
I don't
the
remember
80s.
is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, yeah, I'd throw my trash there too.
Funny.
So,
Small world.
Dang. So I would have been there same time. That would have been nuts.
Would have been. I guess you've talked about your training a little bit. I talk about mine.
Yeah, how many weeks out are you?
As of tomorrow, it'll be 3 because they changed it last year. All the women and guys like under 82.5 kilo went on Saturday. Then all the guys 90 kilo and above were on Sunday. Well, they flip flopped it this time, changed it where all the men up to 100 kilo, my weight class, are on Saturday. Then all the women and the men 110 kilo and above are on Sunday.
Huh.
And so I'm competing on Saturday. So I got to drive down Saturday, but then I have someone.
Where's that?
It's Northeast High School.
Oh, okay.
So I should probably tell you about that because I'll probably need you to
Say,
come
I'll go.
record some people that are here.
I'll go.
Get paid for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have an athlete of mine that I have been programming and coaching that she is on Sunday, so I have to make the trip down twice. And whether or not whether or not I go home in between and sleep in my own bed or just say fuck it and stay with a friend Saturday night because I don't want to make that drive twice in one weekend is up for debate. We'll see.
Yeah, that's got to be tough. You're going to be tired after competing, but...
Yeah, and I already told her I'd be there too, so... And it's her first, so I'm not going to not be there, unfortunately.
You gotta be there.
It's just I might end up staying in Lincoln because...
It's her first meet ever?
Yeah.
That's kind of exciting.
I'll say I think, and CSG is a really good meet to do it because it's locally organized. It used to be small, and now with social media and everything, powerlifting has gotten so huge that like 2 years ago it was a 1-day event, and it was done by like 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then now it's a 2-day event that I guarantee both days are going to go until 4.
That's cool how you can see that,
Oh, for sure.
The growth.
And so another meet this past April, a couple months ago, the Star City Showdown. A year ago, there was someone else that went here, Alec, who was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. He did that one, and he said there was like 20, 30 people there. And then this last April, it was like a full day, went until like 3, 4 o'clock.
Wow.
And so,
how many people are going to this one, do you know?
I don't know. They haven't released the roster yet. I keep waiting.
Or like people from this gym, I mean.
3, 4, 5, somewhere like that.
Oh, okay.
I was saying all of them are under Matt, which is super nice too. So there's me.
Is Matt doing it or not?
No, Matt. He
he still has that.
Yeah, he's still
his hand or whatever.
Yeah, well, he's rehabbing it. It's not in the cast anymore, but yeah, he. So the last time we competed last November, he had like 5 people competing, plus himself. And he said that was the most hectic, stressful bullshit he ever did, and he never wants to do it again.
And then he won.
Yeah, I was saying he won, which was
overall.
Yeah, he won overall. He got best male lifter, but he said it was terrible because he couldn't focus as much on his athletes that he wanted, and like he still performed to the best of what he could, but it was just
that's hard to balance.
Easy. Yeah, and so he said from now on, if he's gonna compete, it'll be where it's just one other person or just him or something like that, because I'll compete now in July and then I'll take another. I don't really want to go right back into another meet, so I'll compete next January in Nebraska State, which is a bit larger meet. And he said he might do that one too, and I don't know who else would do that one or if he'd even bother attempting to handle everyone or just get helpers for it all, because I don't blame him either. You can't really put your best foot forward in a meet when you're distracted by your other athletes. And they're not like distraction, but like they need to be knowing where to go.
Definitely.
But yeah, so mine, my athlete's her first meet. Finally convinced her with some help from some guy out in Columbus where she was that convinced her to do it too. So I'll come down on Sunday and. I think Matt has another athlete that's competing on Sunday too, so that'll be nice because he'll still be there. He'll be able to help me get everything handled. But yeah, I'm 3 weeks out as of Saturday. First week I got a deadlift today, and then this first week will be done. But long off seasons are nice because I didn't compete since last November.
Yeah.
So since then, just 7 months of pure training and just putting on can't even say max because I've stayed the same weight, but like just adding strength. And
Yeah.
so if I do what I'm hoping to do tonight, and it shouldn't be an issue for my deadlift, I will be week 1 of my peak will be a 15 kilo PR of my total. And that's just week 1, and we still have 3 more after that to make something of it. So
I like that.
Long off seasons are nice. I liked competing, and like next year I'll compete 3 times just because I have
3.
Yeah, so I'll do January, and then maybe April, or no, I'll do like May, June, July, somewhere in there, and then I'll do another one in like November, December.
Nice.
Got some goals I want to hit, and as much as gym PRs count, they don't count for the record books. And
oh yeah, got to do it to meet.
Exactly. And so yeah, long off seasons are nice. This is your advice to take one at least once or twice, because competing's nice, and meet to meet is always fun. But
just give your body
yeah,
like a little reboot.
I took this long off season because I started working with Matt on a 10-week strength to peak in my first meet at CSG last July, and then immediately chose to compete again in November. You don't realize how close those are until he gives you your next block, and you realize you're 16 weeks out, and all you have is your 6 weeks of hypertrophy and do a 10-week strength to peak again, and suddenly you're competing.
Yeah, you're like, whoa.
And after only those 2, I really pushed what I was trying to do, and I wouldn't say it burnt me out on it, but like it was tough. I needed a break, so this long off season was also nice to like kind of gain the love for the sport back again. I was lifting in pounds instead of kilos. I kind of experimented with different like training methodologies and did a bunch of fun stuff. So I mean, yeah, again, take one long off season at least once or twice. You feel better, you gain strength a whole lot faster because your body can actually recover. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with that being said too, I mean, don't obviously stay with it, but just don't compete as an off season, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Like, stay in the gym and like follow your structured program and like fucking work at it and make sure your technique's good and your strength's going up, and you're not just fucking off because you got forever until you have to do anything. Because if you're fucking off, you won't gain strength like you want. And I don't know, there's so much now. People are so concerned with like one lift, or they fall into this habit of like, oh, this lift is better than the others. I'm going to make sure this one keeps getting better because like I have a record in this one, or this one is just I feel the best at it. And like it's in the podcast I was listening as well, because they're call themselves Old Meatheads. It was that same Table Talk podcast. They used to lift with Westside Barbell, and they were all concerned about the total, never one specific lift. And so
it's good.
And now too, like so many powerlifters are concerned with like aesthetics as well, and like looking good while being strong, but you won't always have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
And so as much as I want to be aesthetic as well, I also know that like looking at myself in the mirror, I look strong, and I'd rather look strong than look shredded and not actually be strong.
Yeah, 100%.
So I mean, I'm more concerned with the total personally, and I celebrate my wins as they come in like individual lifts, and I am technically, I suppose, a squat specialist just with how my body's shaped, but that doesn't mean I'm going to make sure only the squat's going up.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's good to be well-rounded in anything.
Yeah. Really. 100%. And like I said, so many people are concerned with one lift that they're better at now that they rely on that and maybe don't put in the work they need to on the other ones. Whereas I'm so concerned with getting a better total that I want to make sure everything's going up. So I have, like I was saying earlier, I have some goals for myself. So for this meet, I want to do 665 kilo, which is, I think, just like 1390, which, no, it's higher than that. It's 14 something. It's 1470. Jesus, I'm struggling. I can do the math. Which would be a 40 kilo PR on the last time I competed 7 months ago. And the way things are going, I'll even surpass that number. And then by the next time I compete next January, I want a 700 kilo. And that'll be another 6-month off season where I can actually attempt to make that happen. And setting up nicely now for how it's going. I'm setting up for like a 680 kilo total for this one. So making a 20 kilo jump in another 6 months, hopefully, should work out. And then My qualifying total for USAPL Nationals is 740 kilo at 100 kilo. And so I want 700 by the next time I compete in January after this one.
Yep.
And then gave myself a whole year to compete 3 times, build the strength, and then sometime in 2025, I want to be able to have that 740 kilo total and qualify for nationals.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And that can lead me into something else. I go down a rabbit hole, but I can go a little bit. I don't want to go too far because I'll end up rambling. So many people think they can make progress so much faster than they actually can.
Right.
And I learned that, just some self-reflection over the last 7-8 years I've been lifting, but the last year and a half of doing it on a structured program basis, and only the last year of working with Matt, you realize how slow some of your stuff comes. And you have to understand that the stronger you get, the slower yet it's going to get even after that. Yeah. And so you have to really love the process and love the sport to really grind it out. Because my bench from my first meet in July to the second one in November, I went from a 297 in July to a 303 in November, which is a 6-pound jump. And it was annoying. It was. And then I really focused on it the last 6 months. And then I did 308 for 3 at the end of the last block. And so you just have to stay with it and then understand that things are going to come slower the stronger you get. And so it was really weird for me at first because I was making progress right away, really quick. And then a little bit of self-reflection, listening to certain people talk about how slow actual returns can come sometimes once you hit a point. I realized I should maybe be a little more conservative about how I want to do this. Because I originally told myself 665 by this July, 700 by December, and then 740 by, July or December of 2024.
Yeah.
And then I really thought about it. I'm like, no, I don't think that's a reasonable goal to have. And,
right.
You need to understand. People need to understand that growth is slow, especially when you hit a point where it's gonna slow down. I mean, the best equipped lifter in the world right now, Dave Hoff, he set a world record total back in 2018 at 3,018 pounds. Now, this is multiply, so that's fully equipped, everything. And then it took him 5 years. I think he broke his own record again in 2022. It took 4 years, and he got a 3,024. 4 years to get 6 pounds.
6 pounds.
And he's obviously in that elite level where it's gonna be a little bit different than us on the lower end where strength will come a little bit faster. But 4 years he spent grinding out to get 6 pounds on his total. And he preaches you have to be in love with the sport and in love with the process.
Yeah,
because it's gonna go slow.
When you are competing, can you change what weight your lifts are while the meet's going on, or do you have they don't have to be preset or anything?
The only thing that has to be preset is your first attempts. And you can even change your first attempt up to either 10 minutes before the flight or so much time before you yourself go. And they can change it for you. But after that cutoff point, they won't change it. And then after your first attempt, you'll go to the table and choose your second. After the second, you choose your third.
Have you ever had a third where you're I could have done more?
Yeah, actually, last 2 times I competed, both my third deadlifts.
I was gonna say I remember watching that and I was
yeah, I would say the first time I competed, Matt had my third deadlift at 524, and it was 518. Sorry, 518. I pulled it off the ground. It was nothing, and then you can hear kind of in the video him saying oh, I should have done more. And then the last time I competed, I pulled 540, and it was the same way. It just came off the ground, literally no problem at all.
Yeah.
And so it's always tough to gauge those because you're at that point, your third deadlift, you've done 8 other attempts. You should be. It's hard to gauge where your strength's at.
How close is your second? Wait, 8? I thought you get 3.
Yeah, you get 3 per each. So on your third deadlift, that's your 9th.
Right.
You've had 8 lifts prior.
So what? How do you gauge your second to your third? What's the weight difference on that?
It really depends.
Is it really big or not really?
You want to go Okay, you don't want. You do. You want to go 9 for 9. You want to hit all 9 of your attempts, and then perform like you want. Now there's always going to be like. There was one I failed a squat my first meet because of downward bar path. When I came up, my hips rose first, and so I kind of fell forward before I righted it up. But the bar dipped first, so they called it. Second meet, I jumped the down command on my bench. So you get it out, you have to wait for them to say down before you go. I got it out, and I started down before they said it. And so I went 8 for 9 on both of those, but it's just technicalities. But anyway, you want to go 9 for 9, and you want to choose your attempts like you're going to hit all of them. Mm-hmm. And your third attempts, those depending. So for squat, you want to be a little more conservative with your third attempt because you still have bench and deadlift after that to go. And so it really depends on how your second attempts move. But like your third attempt deadlift, if you're shooting for something that like you want to get first or you want to secure a record or something like that. I mean, I've seen like 30 kilo jumps on third attempts.
Really?
Which is like 66 pounds, I think, something like that. There was the last time I competed, I had first place wrapped up even if I missed my third deadlift. But he wanted second. And so he jumped either 44 or 50 or 55 pounds from his second to his third deadlift just to get second place. Wow. And avoid third. Yeah. I would say like some people will just make those massive. Yeah, he did it. I mean, like more power to him, absolutely, especially if you can do it because you don't want to choose one that's so outside of your reach. You want to at least have a chance of doing it.
Get that range. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. Another example, I guess, so for the last time I competed, I did in the gym during peak week a 540 squat. That was my last single of the block. At the meet, my last warm-up was, or my second attempt was 518, I think, or 524, something like that. I wanted 540 in the meet because I'd done it in the gym. But my handler, this also comes like having a handler who's going to be honest with you about what you're doing.
Right.
He told me, take 534. And I really wanted 540, but I listened to him. I took 534, and I was glad he told me to do so. Otherwise, I might have missed 540, or if I would have gotten it, it would have taken too much out of me for the rest of the meet.
Yeah.
And so that also leads me into have someone handling you that knows how you lift, and that's always easier too. Like when someone would ask me to handle them for a meet, but I don't know them, it's really freaking hard.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how they lift. You don't know if they can do like an RP 9 on their first, but then they can go up 10, 15 kilo and still pull it the exact same way. So it's always tough, and it's better to have someone that knows how you lift, knows how you look. And if they don't know you personally, have someone that's been in the sport long enough to understand and be a little more
can kind of catch it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so, yeah.
Cool.
But do you have anything else? I just went down for
not really.
We've been talking for a while. I don't know how long it's
been. An hour.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Better than some of the other ones we've done.
Right.
I think I went over everything that I wanted to. I had in my notes just your trip, my move, this prep, and then when you brought up you got your program when you were driving.
Yep.
Talk about that a little bit. So, you have anything else?
Not really.
Cool. It's almost 1 o'clock, and I have to eat lunch because I have to deadlift today.
Yes, sir.
So I think we're going to call it here. We're going to try and do weekly again. Just like I said earlier, this last month has been a little tough. But episode 7 of Caffeine, Carbs, and Kilos. As always, DM us or comment anything you want to see us talk about, any podcast suggestions, like I said earlier. That's it. We're good. Cool.
Later.